Another spectacular night of football. Congratulations to Turkey. Congratulations to Georgia that make it through to the knockout phases in what has been nothing short of one of the best group stages I have ever witnessed. It may not be the same high quality football that we've had at previous Euros, but the drama, the excitement, the trials, the tribulations have been nothing short of sensational so far. And tonight we saw a minnow in the grand scheme of football. We saw an underdog in Georgia turn up and perform again. They've actually performed well in all three of their games. And today, scoring after a few minutes, putting Portugal to the sword. Absolutely phenomenal from them. Truly, truly phenomenal from them. It really, really was. And in the Turkey game, so much drama. A red card after 2 yellows, 19 minutes into the game. And even the Turkish players looked a little bit shocked at that decision. But Turkey took over. They dominated the possession. You know, the Czech Republic were always in this game. The Czechs didn't stop pushing. They had so many opportunities. And after going 1-0 down, which was, by the way, a really good strike from Turkey, I felt a little bit unfortunate for the Czechs because their goalkeeper looked like he dislocated his shoulder in the first save. And he might have positioned himself better. He might have got a foot to it, but it was a great strike. They deserve to be leading. And you thought then Turkey would run away with it from that point, and they didn't. And the Czech Republic stayed in the game. They got an equalizer, which, by the way, I don't think was a foul. Yes, there was slight contact on the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper has got to be much, much stronger. And then it became a little bit of anybody's game. It became a basketball match. It was open. And in the end, Turkey's quality and the extra man shone through. They win 2-1. They booked themselves into the knockout phase. A great story for them. But of course, the story of the night is Georgia. You know, and everybody is very much aware, and I'm going to end up saying his name wrong here. It's so hard for me to pronounce, but Kvaratskhelia, I think he's been sensational this whole tournament. Hasn't had his goal or his moment, but he got that in the opening couple of minutes. And his strike partner, again, his name, I was listening to the commentators. I've never heard of this guy until the tournament. His name is pronounced, hang on a sec, why can't I hear it? I can't hear. It's not playing it now. Why is it not playing it for me? Come on. I'm not even going to try and say it. I was listening to it earlier. It doesn't matter. Top goal scorer. Yes, it's from the penalty spot, but his overall play is excellent. And I've seen some people. Yeah, I know it's him. I just don't know how to pronounce it properly. I don't want to butcher it. My dyslexia when it comes to names such as this, difficult for me. But he was great. And I've seen people tweeting that Kvaratskhelia sort of carried this Georgian team, and I think that is a lie. I think that is ridiculous. It is an exaggeration. Pound for pound, they've been my favorite team. I'm not saying they've been the best. Pound for pound, been my favorite team at this tournament. They really, really, really have. And yeah, look, I'm happy to see them into the next phase, into the next round. And of course, they did England a little bit of a favor tonight. They did do England a little bit of a favor tonight, and that was they ensured that we play Slovakia, which you would say is a slightly easier game than playing the Netherlands. You would probably argue that. It hasn't quite been announced yet on UEFA's page, but once we see it on UEFA's page, we'll update you on that. But yes, England plays Slovakia now, which is, it's done us a little bit of a turn. It's not going to be a walk in the park for England because England have not been good so far in this tournament. There's no doubt about it. But I'd rather play Slovakia than I would the Netherlands. And look, I mean, Turkey have been good this tournament. They're on the right side of the draw, if you can call it that. And there's going to be a lot of excitement. Georgia will cook Spain. Is that who Georgia have got? Spain. Wow. I mean, look, they'll have a chance. Where they'll have a chance against Spain is Spain attack. And the one thing about this tournament is every single team is gettable. Every single team can be broken down. every single team can have chances created against them, multiple chances per game. They will have a chance in that match. The one thing about the Georgians, which I find is a thing of beauty, is their ability to run. They're almost never-ending energy. We saw at the last World Cup, and I was very fortunate to be out in Qatar and experience face-to-face with the Moroccans, and a lot of the people, a lot of the Qataris were supporting Morocco, and there was a lot of people there from other African nations. There was a big group of Ghanaians that we met at the stage to support their fellow African nation as well, and it was a beautiful thing. And we had a bit of an underdog go far in that tournament, and could we, with Georgia, think about the teams that have got through. Another third-place teams are going through, but the Georgias, Turkeys, Austria, Switzerland, some of these teams now, not only have they got through the group stages, but people are starting to talk about them as genuine dark horses that could make the semi-finals, make the final, potentially even win it. It's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. And I was happy for the Turks tonight. I grew up, got quite a few Turkish friends. Big up Erkan. Hope you're good, bruv. Erkan Doug. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, brother. If you're tuning in, a friend I grew up with in Leighton, and I've got a lot of Turkish friends. I used to work with a lot of Turkish people, and I was happy to see them go through. They're a very passionate nation, especially when it comes to their football. And there was a part of me that was thinking, are they going to throw it away at the end? Are they going to almost let their emotion get the better of them? And they didn't, and they held on. They remained resolute, and some difficult moments, and they got themselves through it. And listen, we keep their fans out, and I just hope they're still in it when I travel out to Germany, because I want to experience firsthand what it is like to chill with them and watch football with them. People bitching about the ref in the Portugal game. I didn't think the ref in the Portugal game was too bad, really. Well, no, hang on, let me rephrase that. I thought Ronaldo should have had a penalty. His shirt was pulled. It's a penalty for me. And I thought Georgia's penalty was a little bit soft. There was very, very, very minimal contact, but UEFA's rules state that's a penalty. I thought the referee in the Turkey-Czech Republic game just was showing far too many yellow cards. I did actually agree with the double yellow and the red card, by the way. The guy studded someone's ankle and shin. He had to go. But yeah, I didn't think the referee had a particularly bad game, if I'm being honest with you. Make sure like buttons have been hit, by the way. Panel coming very, very soon to have their say, give us their thoughts, and give us their feelings on the game. Terry, when am I going? I'm going on the 2nd. I'm going on the 2nd of July. I've had a few bits and pieces. First of all, moving studio to deal with, and a few other bits and pieces to do before coming out. So I just could. I was meant to go on from the 1st with KJ and Dre and the boys, but I had some business and some, family matters to attend to. Nothing serious, nothing bad. It's all really positive. But I just had to be here, so that's the reason as to why. Referees are terrible. I think refereeing here has been pretty good. I think it's been pretty good. You guys don't know bad refs. We should see the guys in Copper. I haven't watched any of it at all, really, so I don't really know. Switzerland and Turkey are not underdogs, Terry. Now, come on. They've always been decent. Again, you've got to understand what I'm saying here, because I'm talking about a number of nations at the same time. What I stated is that Austria and Switzerland are now being spoken about as teams that could potentially win it. I don't think anybody thinks Turkey or Georgia can win it, but all of them are underdogs in comparison to the sort of the big 6, big 8 nations at this tournament. If you would have said at the beginning of the tournament, I think Turkey have got a chance here to, get themselves to a semi-final, you might have got laughed at by a lot of people. You definitely would have been laughed at for saying Georgia. When we did our bracketing and people predicted Georgia going through, the comments that went, no. But what I'm saying is that people are now starting to believe a dark horse could go very far in this tournament or maybe win it. I'm not putting all 4 of them on the same level. I'm just talking about it in general. But I would definitely say that Turkey and Switzerland are underdogs compared to the Spanish and the Portuguese and the French and the Germans and the English. They're most certainly the underdogs when it comes to those nations. And if you're not in the top 3, top 4, top 5, top 6 favorites to win it, by my definition, you're an underdog. When there's like only a marginal difference between, say, Germany and France, I can understand you saying Germany are not an underdog. It's only a marginal difference. But Switzerland and Turkey, how far down the pecking order would they have come in terms of odds to have won it and what people fancied? They're most certainly an underdog, in my humble opinion. Most certainly are. Will Colleen never be on the show again? Most likely. She's away working in Colombia, so it's not ideal for her or us in terms of timings and everything else. One thing is for sure, Austria and Turkey, Switzerland versus Italy are some exciting matches to watch. It certainly will be, and there certainly will be. And I suppose that's the only bit that's annoying to me is that Austria get Turkey, and you sort of look at that and think to yourself, well, one of them's going out. I would have loved them both to have had a chance to go through to the next round. So they've updated it now. So yeah, as we know, Switzerland, Italy, England versus Slovakia, Austria, Turkey, Romania play the Netherlands. And then look at that top half. Look at that top half. You've got Spain, Georgia, Germany, Denmark, Portugal, Slovenia. And then you've got France, Belgium. So it's, I mean, look, there's sort of, in terms of teams, I mean, it's England have been awful, but I'm really happy with the side of the draw we're on. But I think the Swiss, I think Austria, I think the Turks will all look at the side of the draw they're on and say, do you know what? Austria and Turkey play each other, but that means one of them's guaranteed to be in the quarterfinals. The Netherlands have not looked much cop at all at this tournament. I wouldn't even say it's impossible for Romania to beat them. Romania could beat them. That isn't inconceivable. Now, you could be Austria or Turkey and find yourself playing Romania in the quarterfinals. Now, it could be Austria, Turkey, or Romania going into a semi here. The other half of that outside the draw, look, I think England will beat Slovakia. I think England will get to the quarterfinals. Right now, I fancy Switzerland to beat Italy. And if we play Switzerland with how well they've done so far, they'll beat us as well. You could have a situation where you have a Turkey-Switzerland semi-final. Amazing for the tournament. Again, I want it to be England, but it'd be amazing for the tournament. The other half, the other side of the draw, we're going to get some. I mean, what we've kind of avoided, barring you've got France, Belgium, so two quote unquote big nations of football. Even though the Belgians really flatter to deceive, but they've been awful this tournament. No big nations playing each other, but you've got the potential of Spain, Germany, and France. But don't write Denmark off. Don't write Georgia off. Right? The Slovenia, I don't think will beat Portugal. Not with their full team out there. We're going to get onto Portugal. We haven't even spoke about them yet. But Belgium can't beat France, in my opinion. I just don't think they've got it in them. I just don't think they've got it in them at all. I think France, Portugal, you're probably going to have the usual suspects in those semis. I think you are. I'd love to see Georgia beat Spain, though, because if Georgia beats Spain, that's everybody's favourites now. But we will see. It's going to be an amazing, absolutely amazing last round of 16. On Portugal, before I start bringing my panel out, who are coming out in a few moments, look, I was glad Bruno won on the pitch. Jesus. They were not very good tonight at all. They lacked ideas. They lacked together. It reminded me of the first game, and maybe it was because of the wholesale changes. Maybe it's because, in my opinion, their current best player, Bruno Fernandes, wasn't on the pitch. They missed Bernardo Silva terribly. Obviously, Pepe, who has been one of the best players at the tournament, missing. Vitinha in the middle, out of the side tonight. And there was not a togetherness. There was not a togetherness with this team again. Going 1-0 down didn't help. And I know they'd already qualified, but it just looked like they were sort of, oh, come on, guys, let's try and get Ronaldo to score. And nobody could. It was a very weird performance tonight. And Portugal and Ronaldo were outclassed. They were absolutely outclassed again today. And interestingly, they had more speed on the pitch tonight. But what they lacked is the balance by including the quality. If you would have had a Bernardo Silva or Bruno Fernandes, and when I didn't bring them on, I think it was because Roberto Martinez is like, look, I don't want to lose. But at the end of the day, there's no point bringing on Bruno, no point risking him or Silva. But if they would have come on, I think they would have been able to thread some passes and find some players. The lack of final ball from everybody on the pitch tonight was awful. And again, what we saw, because the balls weren't being pinpointed and put in the right areas, scraps all night for Ronaldo to feast on. And Ronaldo at 25, Ronaldo even at 30, maybe even at 35, could have produced something from that point. But he isn't going to do that at nearly 40 years of age. He just isn't, because he doesn't have the speed and the movement anymore. And that's not his fault in any capacity. Just doesn't have it at his age. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And someone says excuses. It's not about excuses. It's about the truth. It's not an excuse. And we always see this in football because people just want you to say he's crap, he's rubbish. Well, we know Cristiano Ronaldo isn't crap or rubbish because of what he's achieved. But we have to assess him now as a 39-year-old. And as we stated in the first game, you have to have some speed and some movement around him, and you need someone close to him. Didn't happen again tonight. Then there was awful. I mean, listen, a lot of us were calling for the Pedro Netos and the Conceiçãos to come into this team, and they had a chance tonight, and they were really not good. They beat people, but there was no end product. And I've been called out on this show so many times by some of our viewers. Terry, what does delivery mean? What does delivery mean? What does delivering in a football match mean? Well, it means when you beat the fullback, your cross or pass fucking finds someone every now and again. That is delivering. Beating your man is half the job. If you beat your man and your cross goes out for a throw-in or straight into touch for a goal kick, the dribble completion is an absolute irrelevance. It's an irrelevance. And they were awful tonight. They were really awful. I thought João Felix, again, an eye test merchant's wet dream. Loads of flicks. Some people will tell you he's better than Bruno Fernandes. Loads of flicks, loads of tricks, loads of skills, but no delivery. As I said last night on a show, if people don't think delivery is important, this is the analogy I'll give you. I invent the greatest product in history, in your opinion. It will transform your life. That could be anything. For some of you, that's a toaster. For others, it's a lawnmower. For some, it might be a computer. It doesn't matter. Just imagine whatever that product is. It's the greatest ever, and it will change your life. But I don't have the capability of delivering it to you. It becomes an irrelevant product. And there's so many footballers that fit that category of, oh, it's great. It looks great, but it doesn't deliver. And a lot of players didn't deliver tonight. And Cristiano Ronaldo, yes, him and his team were outclassed tonight. There was no doubt about it. He'll bear the brunt of the criticism. Absolutely. But there's a lot of other people, younger players out there, that should have been doing a lot more than him. A lot more than him. And look, they're not going to drop him. They're not, especially as Ramos has been carrying an injury throughout this tournament. And, you know, Jota's come on and not look particularly great either. But unless they have Bruno next to him, they're going to struggle. Bruno Fernandes is key to this Portugal side, 110% in my opinion. Viewers, João Felix did more than Kane has done in 3 matches, but he didn't though, did he? I mean, Kane has been awful. And if you're using Kane as a barometer, great. Let's say he's done more. Doing more than this is still tiny. It doesn't defend João Felix, Ashley. And he hasn't done more. Kane scored a goal. At least he delivered a goal, which, by the way, gave us a point, which has put us through. João Felix did nothing. 0. Niente. Nil point. Nothing. So, again, you shouldn't even be... If you're going to defend João Felix, defend it by explaining what he did specifically and why I'm wrong, not comparing him to another foul player at this tournament so far. That's strange, because we've criticised Harry Kane. We're not sitting here not criticising Kane and only criticising João Felix. Come on now. Keep it right. Speak on Delo. Again, I thought Delo defensively was okay at times tonight. Had a couple of decent efforts, one that was really well saved, but you know, not a top performance from him tonight, not to a level that I've seen him perform at Manchester United. And I was disappointed in his display. I really, really was. I was really disappointed in his display tonight as well. I love how so many experts love to use eye test terms to make themselves look smarter than they really are. Well, look, this is the problem, the judge. When someone just says, it's my eyes, it becomes subjective. And then they can move it. And you notice what these eye test merchants do. When you say, cool, give me something that player does, quantify it. Quantify it. Put a number to it. Okay, he beats his man. How often? I just see it, man. I see him do it. But do you? Or are you overhyping it? You know, they always say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think sometimes football works that way. These people need to start watching dancing, as I say. Terry, I'm too biased. What have I said that's biased? I've got no dog in this fight tonight. You can't just say I'm biased. You've got to give You got a breakdown for me, and then I can explain, either agree with you and say, yeah, I am biased on that, or disagree with you, my friend. But yeah, look, as I say, just saying it's the eye test, it's what I see, is crazy. Again, there's a couple of guys I sort of follow on Twitter who were I remember one of them replied to me when I think when Turkey won their opening game, I think I said, congratulations to Turkey, but what a delight they both, Georgia and Turkey, delivered for us. And he come back and said, oh, you're turning into a hipster, Terry. I said, why? He goes, liking teams. He goes, I saw you praising Austria the other day, and now you're praising Georgia when they've lost. And all I said was, but I can see a team in there. Pound for pound, I can see a team in there. Austria ended up winning their group. Georgia have gone and qualified. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the first time they've ever got out the group stages at a major tournament. So it's not about being a hipster. It's just, okay, they didn't win today. But if you couldn't recognize some of the quality on display in their opening 2 games, you're just a liar. You're just a liar. You really, really are. Panel time now, people. We've got Judge Mo, we've got Matt, we've got man like Alex, Redneck Alex, that is Chelsea fan, and of course, Hussam on the show. Make sure like buttons have been hit. Make sure you are subscribing if you haven't done so already. And by the way, I want to thank everybody that has signed up and has started to use Stocks FC. They're not our sponsor tonight, but I just wanted to mention it because blown away response. And I know a lot of you have DM'd me and asked me questions, and a few people today have got answers that they were worried about. So a guy messaged me saying, Terry, I've just gone and bought some stock. And I don't know who he bought them in. I think he bought them in Martinelli. And he's like, but it hasn't actually come onto my portfolio. And it just says that it's in an open order. It's pending. I'm like, yes, you've put in an order. No one's selling them. You need to wait for someone to agree to sell you their shares. Like I've said to everybody, it is user controlled. It's not controlled by sort of the people that run the website, if that makes sense, like sort of other competitors in the past. It's really, really good. And want to thank everybody that signed up and had a look for it and had a look at it. So thank you. Mo's here with me. Hussam is here. Alex is here. Matt's in the house. Welcome, gentlemen. Mo, a brilliant, entertaining night of football.
I'm so delighted for Georgia. You have no idea. I think they said this is the biggest upset in Euro history ever. It's the biggest difference, I think, something like this between the 2 teams, for a team to beat a team. I'm very delighted for Georgia, to be honest. Played magnificent. Yes, there was a Portugal second team, but that doesn't matter. Still, these Portugal second team players are way bigger names than this Georgia team, and they're fearless, to be honest. The Georgia, the Kvaratskhelia, and the other guy, Tata up top, they're fearless. Fearless players, to be honest. They didn't fear the Portuguese. They went full on. They had a lot of chances, to be honest. Tons of chances, by the way. And more than that, Portugal didn't play well. I think people are harsh. Like I went on Twitter, people are harsh on Portugal. I don't think the game mattered. They were always going to top the group. Someone has massive noise, by the way. I don't know what. But they were always going to top the group. Portugal, I don't think it matters. Ronaldo seemed a little bit agitated for no reason. I don't know why he's so agitated like this. And it cost him a yellow card. He gets another yellow, and he misses the quarterfinal if they go to the quarterfinal for no reason. But Portugal looked like a team that went through a top of the group from minute 1, to be honest. Only Ronaldo looked like he cared. He wanted to score. Joao Felix was dribbling like, yeah, it's a 5-a-side game, and he was playing with his friends. He rented the pitch, and nobody cares, and there are cameras.
On Kvaratskhelia.
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 Kvara. Just call him Kvara, actually, by the way.
Kvara.
Yes.
I mean, he's an interesting one because there's been a lot of hype about him from Premier League fans.
Yeah.
And he was one of those players who you would sort of call a hipster fan if you rated him. Oh, he won't be able to do it in the Premier League. Now, I know this isn't the Premier League, but we've seen him perform well, create opportunity and chances, dribble past people for fun, scored a goal tonight. There was that moment in the middle of the pitch, maybe at about 70 minutes, where he had the ball in the middle and he was just gliding past people.
5 players.
He, for me, I mean, there's talks he's getting PSG. What a signing that will be. This man has the potential to be a world-class superstar, in my opinion.
100. Listen, without a shadow of that, because also one of the things about this guy, people say he's very direct winger. I think he learned 2 seasons now in Serie A, winning one of them, being, to be honest, him and Osimhen were great. He learned to have experience. Like in this game, by the way, you see him winning free kicks, not trying to overdo it sometimes, like holding the play a little bit. Yes, he's direct and everything, but I actually think this guy, if he moves to a bigger club than Napoli, with all due respect to Napoli, he will be an amazing player, a top class. Unfortunately, Antonio Conte said he's not going anywhere. He's going to stay this season at Napoli this morning. So they're going to keep him for one more year. That's what they said. I hope that Antonio Conte doesn't turn him into a left wing back within a month or two, as he did with a lot of players. I hope he plays up top in a top two. His talent is undeniable. By the way, this guy is only 21 or 22, by the way. He's not that old. But he looks like he's mature in his game. I like his game. I love Kvaratskhelia. He tears Serie A apart. People said he's only dribbles, but no, he delivers, by the way. He delivers on a regular basis, by the way. Crosses, assists, goals. Absolutely brilliant talent. He would have suited Liverpool very well. Would have suited Arsenal very well. But nobody wants to pay the money. They're scared of paying a 22 years old from Serie A the money. But looks amazing. Some would have loved that guy on his team on that left side.
I definitely would. I think Kvaratskhelia would have been an incredible signing for us, to be honest with you. Like, it's just, yeah. It's funny because we were speaking about recency bias on my stream earlier on, where people just kind of think of like what's hot lately type stuff. If you asked every person on this panel, maybe probably a summer ago, after Napoli won the league and he was cooking, like, oh yes, of course I take Kvaratskhelia. I haven't changed my mind on him. I mean, he has 17 GA in 34 games for Napoli, who finished 10th and were absolutely crap this season. So he's a very good player. I'd take him at Liverpool in a heartbeat. I think he starts over Diaz with ease. He starts for us down that left-hand side. We don't have a better left winger than him. I think, people just kind of have that recency bias where it's like, what's hot lately, If I ask many people now, would you take Kvaratskhelia or Nico Williams? Many people say Nico Williams, but Kvaratskhelia is so much better, to be honest with you. And it's not just about the goal; it's about his overall performances. I think even in the second game, I believe I watched, where Georgia played Czech Republic. It was very creative in that game. It was very dangerous. So he has a lot to his game, and I think he could add a lot to a Premier League club or a club in general, to be honest with you, even like a Barcelona, like a Bayern Munich, someone like that. I think they would take him.
By the way, he delivered. By the way, there's one more difference between him and Nico Williams. This guy won Serie A. He won a title before. Like, he knows how to get it over the line. And he was the star of that team, along with a lot of others. But he was 21 years old and he delivered. This team got 90 plus points. So there is a difference. Nico Williams, I'm not going to watch him a couple of games. Of course, I watched more of Kvaratskhelia than him, to be honest. But I think Kvaratskhelia, if you're asking me to choose one of two, I'll choose Kvaratskhelia. Got it over the line. Kind of, let's say, led the team from that left side. Was fantastic last season for Napoli. By the way, he wasn't bad last season. And the season before they won the league. I thought he's fantastic and an amazing footballer. And he delivered. And he delivered for his country as well.
Yeah, no, he certainly did. Straight jacket here said he was. I think he meant to say arse against Turkey. So I don't think he was. There was a standout moment in that game was where right near the end, when it was 2-1 to Turkey, he must have taken on 2 or 3 players on the left hand side, cuts inside, squares it back, and I don't remember which teammate of it was. Should have buried it. Should have been 2-2, and it just went wide. And I think he created multiple chances in that game. But what I like about him, again, maybe we've spoken about this so much in recent times on the terrace. There's an old school mentality. He will lose the ball a lot. He will make mistakes, but it's because he's trying to do brilliant things. And that, for me, is what I love about him. He could try and take someone on 4 times. Didn't happen. Does it on the 5th time, completes it, gets the cross in, his team scores. That's why he's amazing. Too many players like him is in skill set, get a couple of hard tackles, doesn't quite come off, and then they just fade out of the game. They don't really want to get involved. They don't want to take responsibility. And yeah, I think he's phenomenal. I really, really do. Hussam, what did you make of the games overall tonight?
I mean, I was watching the Turkey-Czech Republic game because that's like the heritage game in the Euros. Euro 2008, if you know, 2-1 up in 90 minutes, and then Nihat scores twice, and it's 3-2. So this game has really good history. That's the game that I decided to watch, and I wasn't disappointed. Red card, 3 goals. It was a phenomenal game of football to watch. Turkey missed a whole lot of chances, and I think I want to speak on the Czech Republic as well. And this is kind of something that you always have to keep in mind. Look, Czech Republic went way too cautious against Portugal. Then they had to do the exact reverse against Georgia, couldn't do it. Today they tried to attack at the end, they couldn't do it. And the Czech Republic, I think, with all due respect, their quality is just not there. Like their quality is just not there. I was looking at the Euro 2004 squad. That was the time where Czech Republic were cooking. Milan Baroš, Jan Koller, Pavel Nedved, Poborski, even literally like the right backs and the left backs and the keeper Petr Cech in goal, of course. The whole team was just so good. You look now at the team that they have, and there's just such a lack of quality. And the fact that Patrick Schick started on the bench as well didn't really help them because they couldn't really bring him on. So yeah, I just think when it comes to Czech Republic, they never really had enough quality. Look, with all due respect, you draw with Georgia, you're going out. Congratulations to Georgia as well. They done phenomenally to go through. I mean, they made history today for their nation, for their people. So they're really, really happy, of course. I think this group has been probably, fair to say, the most entertaining group of probably the whole Euros, to be honest with you. It's been absolutely entertaining.
Yeah, Alex, we're getting real bad feedback from your mic.
Okay, hold on a second.
Jesus. You just want to speak again? Nice, even worse.
And he has a professional mic on him.
Yeah, maybe your mic is not connected. You try unplugging it, plug it back again.
It's crazy.
How about now?
No, it's all like strange. It's like sort of like you're underwater.
Hold on a second.
Anyway,
try fixing it. Is the fourth guy sad?
No.
What I'll do, we'll put you out and come back in again in a minute, Alex. Sort out your sound and stuff, test it and that. I'll come back and we'll speak to you in a minute, my man. Cheers, Alex. Thanks, bro. It's actually Matt that's here with us. Matt, what are you here to say?
Yeah, no, look, I was on a Pedro Neto watch. I actually thought he had a pretty good game. But I couldn't help but, that standout performer of Kvaratskhelia, I think you pronounce his name. And I just think the season before last season, he had so much hype about him. And this season, the hype kind of died down. And I don't think that's necessarily his fault. I think it's the team that he was playing on just didn't have a great season. And, he just wasn't hyped up as much as he was the season that he won the league, I believe. And I think he is an incredible player. And, I'd love to have him at Arsenal. I think I'd pick him over Victor Osimhen because he improves us massively and gives competition to Gabriel Martinelli.
I need to ask you a question. You said, what did Pedro? I'm a fan of Pedro Neto, but what did he do tonight that you said was good?
Oh, I think he made a couple of good runs. I was just pretty impressed with how he handled things. Considering he doesn't really get much time for Portugal, as there's a lot of talented players in his position.
I mean,
would you rather Matt Pedro Neto or Nico Williams for your team for Arsenal if you sign in one?
That's interesting because Neto, I've seen a lot of him in the Premier League. I'm a big fan of him. With Nico Williams, he's so fast. He is incredibly fast, and I think that's what I really like about him. I'd probably pick Neto just because I've seen more of him than I have of Nico Williams.
See, do you know what the only reason why I wouldn't is all the players you're linked to. There's one who has got a genuine terrible injury record. If you could choose right now, if the choice was you can have Nico Williams or you could have Neto, I think you've got to go for the slightly more inexperienced player, but who doesn't. The injury record of Pedro Neto isn't that great. And I know some people say it's a little bit overhyped, but go and look at it. It's a worry. I'd almost like to see him have a whole, even as a United fan, and we need improvements. I'd like to see him have another year somewhere and have a whole year where he's predominantly not injured, because I don't know. I wouldn't put the money in it right now. Alex,
see, his injury record is concerning, and I think that's why if we were going to sign him, we have asked for a full medical assessment, before we've even put in a bid on him, because it is that concerning. But he's just such a player, and I do love watching him in the Premier League.
I hear you on that.
Can
Alex,
you hear me better now?
That's much better. Yes.
That's better.
Okay. Yeah. Are you still talking to him or to me?
No, you can
Do
go
have
now,
my
my friend.
Okay.
No, go ahead. Alex.
Here's the thing about Kvara. By the way, his name is Kvara, short from, like, that's how people call him. The couple of things that what I don't agree with about Kvara is, well, not me, from the country he's from. It's not how he plays. Nobody ever doubted him because he's a star boy. The only difference is how his manager puts him. And the first 2 games that he played, he wasn't that great. And he wasn't great not because of him, it was the way that setup was. So his own, like, the fans of him from back home usually want that kind of player not to be that close to the striker. The 3-5-2 situation that they use does not give freedom to Kvara all the time. So he wasn't as good in first 2 matches versus what he did today, where he actually had a little bit more freedom of playing. Plus, Portugal is not that invested in the game, and you can see it throughout the game. Kvara is a brilliant player, don't get me wrong, but Kvara is the one that actually has the speed and space into his advantage most of the time. When you said that he losing a ball sometimes, that's when he goes and runs against too many defenders. You know what I'm saying? He's better in open space. He's not afraid to cross the ball to assist, which is not common in those kind of wingers these days, the ones that play with forwards, but always want to score. And I think that's kind of like links into the English national team problem. You have a creative wingers, but they technically don't create for the strikers. They do everything but create. They create more for themselves than actual striker. Kvara is good, but Kvara a little bit not. You're gonna see a different one when he plays against our team. They're gonna be more complacent, 3-5-2. So that's how we're gonna. And I think that's the system that gonna shows.
Well, he's going to be up
Kvara.
against Spain, so it's going to be so interesting because
That's what I'm saying.
Spain, you could argue there's going to be more space and for him to run into, especially with they counter so well Georgia because they have some real. They have speed, but they also have players that are very fast with the ball at their feet because some people can really slow down when they're in control. So
it's isolation, Terry. It's isolation. If you isolate Kvara, not in the middle beside the striker, like to make that counter, but push him wide because he likes to hug the line. He always been liking to hug the line for Napoli. He is so tight to that line because this is how he beats players. When they attract to him, he beat one player, he has open space. If he does that against Spain, he has a really good chance of.
You think Alex Georgia has a chance against Spain?
I think so. They
Really?
always have a chance. It's not about the talent. It's not about that. This is where the unity of the team sometimes overtakes the individualism. You see what I'm saying?
Spain plays as a team. Spain is.
I didn't say they go to win. I said they have a chance
together.
I'm going to back Alex here. I'm going to back Alex here. I've said this on every. I'm going to back you here, Alex. I've said this on every single match reaction so far this tournament. Nobody's been formidable. Spain have been the best team, won 3 from 3, but in every single game they have been opened up and had opportunities multiple times. I think, obviously, Spain are the favourites. If anybody says there's zero chance Georgia could win and go through, they're being disingenuous. Of course, if you're going to put money on it, you're better off putting your money on Spain. You're more likely to win. But I think every single team in these last 16 rounds has an opportunity to get to the quarterfinals. I don't think there's any. The only
The only team I think it's Belgium.
Belgium, yeah. France, Belgium is the only one that I look at and go, I don't think they've got a chance. Like, by the way, if England were playing a team as good as France, I'd say the same thing. But I think a little bit like we've done with Serbia in the I think we'll get past Slovakia by hook or by crook because we have better quality. But they have a chance. That's what I'm saying. Everybody has a chance. The only team that I think genuinely out is Belgium.
I don't know why.
When you say stuff like, here's the thing, Momo, look, when you say stuff like have a chance, I think even Belgium have like a 1% chance.
It's just 1%, but it's way less than everyone else.
No, but hear me out. It's just about executing on the football pitch. Because at the end of the day, you execute on the football pitch, you win. and I'm going to keep mentioning this example because it's a true example that happened literally 5 months ago. Jordan in the Asian Cup got to the final. This is just the reality. No one expected us to beat South Korea. No one expected us to beat Iraq. No one expected us to beat Tajikistan. No one expected, like, it was no expectation to beat any of these guys. Sometimes when there is no expectations, and Alex is 100% right, sometimes when there is no expectation and the group has a unity and formidability about them and you defend right, I think the key for Georgia and in general to any country coming up against a stronger country is just to be formidable defensively. And here's genuinely what made Jordan get to the final is you have to be clinical on the counterattack. You absolutely have to be clinical.
And players, everything you described, it describes the like of Slovakia, it describes the like of Georgia,
No,
it describes hold on, just let me just finish, Alex. It describes the like of Turkey. What I mean by that is that when you watch Georgia, they defend in bulk and they go on the counter attack. Yes, Kvaratskhelia with the individuality and the other guy, but they defend as a bulk. You feel like the whole team is together. The only team, Osam, that doesn't have this in this tournament is one team only, Belgium.
Yeah.
You feel each and every single player is on an isolated island where they don't care about their teammates, and that team is the definition of we don't want to be here. We really want to be on a holiday.
Mo, I think
we don't want to be here.
I think the difference between you're saying you compare Georgia to those Slovakia, Slovenia that play more defensively.
To Jordan. I'm comparing Georgia to Jordan.
Jordan. Okay.
Counter attack.
Yeah, because Jordan against Korea is the same as Georgia against Spain.
Again, that's what I'm trying to say. So that's what I'm trying to say. So, for example, even if you do in this Euros, the way you're saying, the biggest thing is when you have a counter-attacking team, the biggest thing is you're not going to have as many chances as the other team.
Yes.
But when you do, that X factor player comes in.
Yes.
That's the thing. So when you compare, for example, counter-attacking team in this Euro, those former Yugoslavia countries, they do play in kind of physical counter-attacking style, right? But they don't have that X factor that, for example, Kvara has. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this is why I give a little bit more. I'm not saying they're gonna beat Spain. I'm saying, if anything, they have a chance. And that chance could be slightly bigger than Belgium versus Spain. By the way, I don't rate France either. France ain't that good either this tournament, unless we're gonna pull the shit together in the next knockout stage.
I think what's interesting about it, I was just looking at this while you gentlemen were talking, and there's some anomalies in this. A lot of people are very angry that I said I think England will scrape past Slovakia because we only drew with Slovenia, and Slovakia. Obviously, Slovakia are a better team. But I don't think it's disrespectful to say I think England will scrape past them. I think that you're reaching too much English hate. But what's really intriguing about this last round of 16 is the number of teams that have rarely or never been to a knockout stage. Georgia have never been there. So we have no idea how they're going to behave. They could regress because suddenly they feel pressure. It could almost enhance them and give them superpowers because they suddenly start believing in themselves. There's a study that went into a lot of MMA fighters and boxers that they believe there is almost like a 25% increase in quality and finishing once people win major bouts or world titles because there's suddenly more belief in them. Now, I'm not considering this as getting out the group stage the same as winning it, but doing it for the first time can enhance you. Sometimes people go the other way, though. The pressure's on. You've got Ukraine. They got to the quarterfinals in 2020, to be fair. Prior to that, just group stages. Slovenia have never been out of the group stages. Romania haven't been. They got to quarterfinals in 2000, in the year 2000, and in 1972 and in the 60s. But as a nation, in the last 40, 50 years, they've only once been at the knockout stages in the tournament. Georgia, as we mentioned, they've never been there, and Slovakia, in fairness, they went out the group stages last time, and then the only other time they've been in the tournament was 2016, and they did get to the round of 16, they went out. And so you've got all these sort of fairly unknown anomalies. We kind of know that England choke in knockout stages over the last 20, 30 years. We know that historically the Germans and the Italians and the French typically go quite far and quite deep, but we've now suddenly got 5 nations in the knockout stages who are rarely here. And so it's hard to know what their form, you almost can't place form and history onto it because there isn't any. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. And what it definitely is, I think, is exciting for the tournament. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Can I
It's
ask
gonna
you
be
a
great
question?
knockout stages.
You give the couple of teams saying that they've never been there, but there's the teams that nobody, for me, I'll call 3 teams, dark horse teams, this tournament before the tournament start. Those teams were progressing even good since 2018 World Cup. Countries like Swiss, countries like Denmark, those teams slowly progressing as individual, as young teams, and they've produced now. They didn't do it well, but I still see. For example, I'm with you. You will pass Slovakia through the next one, but I wouldn't be so sure about Swiss more than Italy.
No,
think
I agree with you.
Swiss and Denmark.
I said that before you guys came backstage. I completely agree, and I think that I look at. I thought Denmark would get out of the group, and I thought that again Denmark did very well at the last Euros. And there's an element of were they spurred on by the situation with Ericsson, but they've done well since then. And what's really interesting is you've now got the Georgias and the Slovakias that people are going, they've got half a chance. And then again, the teams like Switzerland and Denmark, majority of my life, I know Denmark won it in 92, but the majority of my life watching those teams, whether it was the Euros or the World Cup especially, they'd get out the group and they nearly always go out in the next round. Now we're looking at those sides and saying Austria, Switzerland, and Denmark, we're like, we've got a chance as well. And that's what makes, I think, the round of 16 so interesting. You've got these 5 teams that have got through that rarely do or never have. You've got 3 or 4 teams that we always used to just kind of write off who definitely could beat the teams they're up against. And then you've got the usual suspects who none of which have looked formidable. And that is why I think you could predict anyone to win this tournament from now. And I don't think there's a crazy shout, probably barring Belgium. If I'm being honest with you, the rest of them, there is there's a puncher's chance out there, you know, that someone not fancy could win this. And look, if it isn't going to be England, I'd love to see an Austria. I'd love to see a Switzerland. I'd love to see a Denmark do it. Because I think great.
You will see Switzerland. I think Switzerland have been cooking way too much for us to just push them to the side.
I think at Denmark.
By the way, you see how everyone was scared of Germany? Switzerland come up against Germany and then they cooked them, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm just Switzerland and Austria would be the 2 that I think. I'll say one thing. Switzerland are way more comfortable than Austria. I'll tell you why. The whole world expect Austria to beat Turkey. The whole world. So all the pressure is on Austria. You have Turkey. You have an easy draw. Do it, type thing. But with Switzerland, everyone's going like, yeah, Italy. They won the Euros before. They won the World Cup. No real pressure on them. So it's kind of different because Switzerland will play with no pressure, while Austria will have all the pressure on them.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how England have got yet another favourable, run to the finals? Like Southgate can't keep getting away with this. Do you know what I mean? Like we have, like a fairly easy run.
That's nothing to do with. I mean, again, I know some people get annoyed about it because it means England might go far, but part of that is because we've won our Group 3 tournaments running. And actually, a lot of the time when I was growing up, you wouldn't remember this, Matt. You'd have been too young. We scraped through our group 2nd place and nearly always got a really hard team in the next round. So for me, although we weren't very good this time, we still won the group. I'm not going to take that away from us. For many years, we scraped through 2nd in a lot of our groups. World Cup 98 was a prime example. Beat Tunisia in the opening game, then got beat by Romania. We did beat Colombia, but we ended up coming 2nd. I think Romania topped the group that year. And who do we have to play in the next round? We had Argentina. If we'd have won the group, we'd have had an easier game, could have got to a quarters. And I always find with all cup competitions, if you can get yourself to a quarterfinal stroke semi-final, anything can happen. But you can't be angry at England because, and also the reason why the draw got messed up is because certain other top teams didn't win their groups like they were meant to. Again, you can't blame England for other people failing. Imagine next year, all the big teams in the FA Cup get knocked out by smaller teams and Arsenal go on to win it. Are you going to be angry at Arteta because he had an easy run?
No.
I think England has to make some dramatic changes to
yeah, no, he certainly does. I just want to go to some of these super chats here. First one says the Ukraine missed the last 16 on 4 points. Yeah, they did. And I felt like on a footballing level, I kind of felt I felt for them a little bit. They're that guy that ran through the middle as well, right at the end. I don't know his name. Can't remember his name. Dribbled past 3 people. And I thought, oh my God, he's going to do it. And he didn't. But there we go. Commiserations to them. Spain has probably been the best so far, but the best group team rarely wins the tournament. By the way, obviously Denmark wins it all. Big up yourself, my friend. It's a great point. If the shirt pull on the Portugal player isn't strong enough for a penalty, why is the minimal contact on the Georgia player deemed enough for a penalty? Yeah, obviously that was the Ronaldo one. Ronaldo's shirt was PM. I mean, I do agree. I think both are penalties.
Martin Clattenburg said it actually should be a foul on Ronaldo because he actually pulled the guy's hand first. That's what Martin Clattenburg said. He literally said that. That's what he said. That's on Fox. He said that.
I swear, I just don't want to listen from English referee explaining the other.
He literally explained that. He explained that.
wanna
I think it was
listen.
Ian Drake.
I know
He
he's
explained
been
it to
there,
Ian
but
Drake, and he's like, "No, Ronaldo pulled his arm first, and that's the reaction of the guy." And I'm like, you know what? Just
English referee and explaining somebody.
He's not
how
up to
to
date with the
referee
latest
is.
rules.
It's the madness
This year
thing
says
ever.
Ronaldo is better than Kane and João Felix is absolute cheeks. Yeah, I mean Ronaldo has definitely been better than both of those players. I don't even think it's debatable. This is how England will look like they are changed 8 players. Ronaldo looked good early, but Georgia's defense needs high praise.
I don't get that.
No. Like he's saying that the way Georgia defended, it's actually pretty good, and I agree with him.
Yeah. I certainly hear you on that. There's something else I was going to ask you guys, and my mind has gone completely blank on it now. But it couldn't have been that
England.
important. No, I don't want to talk about it. It's depressing. I'm being honest with you. I'll save that for another day, another show. The good news is we've got a couple of days now where there's no games, and I love this tournament so far. But I'm actually looking forward to having a couple of evenings where I don't have to watch football and I can, I don't know, catch up on some TV, get to the gym, and whatever else. It's been an absolutely intense few days. I want to thank our viewers really because, you know, we've done some days 3, some days 2, but we've been live every single day with 2 or 3 match reactions throughout the course of the group stage. It's been an amazing time. So I want to thank all of the panelists that have been on during that time, all of the viewers, all of the super chatters, everybody that's hit the like button. Tomorrow will be normal service on the terrace. We'll have some content in the morning and afternoon, and then the top 6 show at 6 p.m. Friday will be morning content, and then straight facts with Staffy and Lawless in the afternoon before we gear up to the real business of the knockout stages. So there'll be a lot of fun there. This stream, by the way, is going to take you through to Hassam's channel. Let everyone know what's going on over there, bro.
We have Al Ahwa on, you get me? This is football. The stream is... Don't go anywhere because we're going to have our first
I'm
too
pale to go to that.
Yeah, we've been talking about the Euros on the football terrace. The best place to talk about the Euros, man. You sure guys are liking and subscribing here and first and foremost. And we're going to be talking about it over there. So we're going to ask Hamza why did the Belgian fans boo KDB. That's the most...
new challenges. Kerry, say the name of the show.
Ziad and Sad's. Ziad and Sad.
He was watching lyricals in Twitter Spaces about how KDB has saved Belgium or something, and it's like he's getting booed by his own country.
Crazy.
Jeez.
Listen, everyone who's tuned in, I want to say a big thank you to each and every single one of you. Take care. Goodbye. Let me just check. This is definitely redirecting. It is done. I can see it. Take care, people, and we'll see you all again tomorrow. Peace.